Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this video, we're out on Lake Chickamauga and we're catching some fish on a good old spinnerbait. I love to get on a spinnerbait bite, and today's actually pretty good. I think we've caught, like, in the last hour, like 8 fish or something like that on a spinnerbait. So pretty decent bite. And so I wanted to talk about some of the nuances when it comes to fishing a spinnerbait, and more specifically when it comes to picking a spinnerbait for the conditions that you're facing. You know, this is a category of bait that has been around for a long time, and there's a lot of different variables to choosing the right spinnerbait, right? Because you got, you know, different colors, you got different, weights and sizes, and then you've also got a variety of different blade combinations and blade sizes, blade finishes. I always felt like a spinnerbait fishing was one of those categories that I tend to spend too much time thinking about, you know, and really make it more complicated than it needs to be. And I think that that is probably a pretty common sentiment with spinnerbait fishermen. And you can make it as complex or as simple as you like. And over the years, I've really just tended to keep it pretty simple. But really, the two different blade combinations that you're going to see the most, of course, you do have like single blades, like big single Colorado is a really big deal during the winter time and in dirty water a lot of times. But most of my spinnerbait fishing is going to be with either a Colorado and willow leaf combination or a double willow leaf combination. And these two spinnerbaits here are some of my favorites. This one right here is the Boogerman spinnerbait, and this one right here is the Z-Man Sling Blades. This thing is awesome. Both of these will be in the description below. But so I really want to just focus on when to use each of these. This was the one that I've been catching them on today, and I ended up choosing a Colorado willow leaf for a specific reason. And really, before we get into it, I guess I need to kind of like discuss the differences between these two different types of blades. The Colorado blade is going to be this round one right here. It's a very rounded blade. They come in a variety of different sizes. When you have a Colorado lead blade followed by a willow leaf, usually you're talking about a pretty small Colorado blade. But a Colorado blade does a couple things. It has a very wide arc. As it spins, it's very, very wide, okay? Creates a lot more vibration, a lot more lift, so it's not gonna allow you to get that bait down as deep with the same retrieve as you would with like just a willow leaf blade. So it creates a lot of lift, a lot of vibration, and it doesn't have as much flash as a willow leaf. Okay, so those are the main qualities of a Colorado blade. It can be very, very good in muddy water, dirty water, and also very cold conditions where you want to really slow roll a bait in a certain depth zone. A willow leaf, on the other hand, is much more slender, as you can tell. It has a much narrower arc, so it spins in a narrower formation, and it creates a lot of flash. So not as much lift. It allows you to get down deeper or fish it extremely fast without, you know, blowing out on the surface. It is just overall a really fast blade. You know, it's one that you can fish really super fast. But again, neither of these is better than the other, you know, in general. They just are very different. And so the reason why I chose the Colorado and willow leaf combination today is because I wanted to slow roll this spinnerbait and keep it a little bit higher in the water column, number one. So I wanted that Colorado blade to really create a little bit more resistance and lift. And then I also wanted a little bit more vibration because we've got some pretty heavily stained water. A lot of times when I'm dealing with, colder conditions, so like sub 60-degree range, I want a Colorado blade in a lot of cases as the lead blade to be able to you know, maintain a slower retrieve speed overall. Okay, so that's where the type of situations I really like the Colorado willow leaf combination. When I want a slower presentation, a little bit more lift, a little bit more vibration, those are kind of the keys to that. However, a double willow leaf combination can be really, really good in different situations. Warm water is one, when you want to be able to move your bait a little bit faster and not have it pull up to the surface near as much. So if you want to like maintain, you know, a deeper depth range while you're retrieving it, but still have a pretty, you know, a decent fast retrieve, double willows are the deal. Also, if you're like trying to burn a spinnerbait super, super fast for like smallmouth or something like that, double willow leafs are pretty much standard. You know, you use a fairly heavy spinnerbait with 2 small willow leafs on it and burn it as fast as you can, and it won't, you know, if you choose the right spinnerbait, it shouldn't blow out on the surface, you know, meaning that the blades like, you know, pull out of the water and cavitate. So really fast retrieves, and when you're trying to maintain a decent, you know, pace, but also keep the bait down a little bit deeper, those are really key reasons for a double willow leaf combination. Also, sunny conditions, you know, again, willow leafs are going to reflect more light in general, and so double willow leafs do really, really well in sunnier conditions, even though we're sunny today. I mean, if you've got you know, clear water and a lot of sun, I tend to really go towards the double willow leaf. In fact, water clarity is a really big factor in choosing between, you know, the Colorado willow leaf or the double willow leaf. And clear water, I definitely lean towards, even in cold clear water, I tend to lean more towards willow leafs than Colorado blades. So in general, you know, those are some of the reasons I might choose one over the other. Again, both of these need to be in your tackle box. They're very, very important tools, but don't overcomplicate it. You know, just keep it pretty simple. Think about those different variables: water temperature, water clarity, you know, how much sun you've got, what type of depth range you want to keep it at, what the speed of the retrieve that you think that the fish are going to prefer. Those are all very, very important, and you can accomplish what you need to with these 2 blade combinations. So anyways, guys, hopefully this helps you decide what blade combinations to use out there when spinnerbait fishing. It's a great technique. I love this category of bait. When that bite is on, it is super exciting. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. The links to these 2 spinnerbaits are going to be in the description below, along with the tackle that I like to use with spinnerbaits. And other than that, I'm going to see you out on the water. Trust the process.